Did you know Django's epithet is the turncoat? Did you know Django ate a mushroom that grew off his chin and gained him powers? Did you know Django is the only pirate to have his bounty officially removed? One Piece is a world full of incredible abilities and powers, and today I'm going to talk about one of them. But before that, let me explain to you how we got here. For those who haven't followed our previous theories, we dropped one a couple of months ago about the end of Cypherpole. During our time working on it, we found some interesting patterns that seem to connect to hypnosis. Hypnosis is probably one of the most interesting and yet underrated abilities in the One Piece universe. In this video, we will explore the concept of hypnosis in the One Piece world and examine the characters who can use it and how they use it. We will also discuss the inspiration that Oda had behind hypnotism and how it compares to the way hypnosis is utilized in the One Piece story. So like, sub, and prepare to be hypnotized by the last arc. Before anything else, let's define Oda's version of hypnosis through the character that is used to introduce it, 1-2 Django. After waking up, Django ate a mushroom that had grown off his chin and developed the ability to influence or control others through his hypnosis. He found the taste disgusting. With this information, it seems to be a will or desire-based ability similar to a devil fruit, eating something that has connection to dreaming and tasting bad. Also, Django once stated to Full Body in a cover story that he could manage something as complex as erasing all memory of an individual from another's mind. This suggests, with better proficiency, someone could actually remove themselves in this way from someone's memory. So let's do a quick dive into a certain book and movie that seems to have partly inspired hypnosis in One Piece. This is A Clockwork Orange. Like I said, when we were working on the Cypherpole theory, we found some interesting information that leads back to hypnosis that deserved a deeper dive. A Clockwork Orange is a classic dystopian novel by British author Anthony Burgess. It is set in a future society where youth gangs roam the street committing acts of extreme violence and mayhem. After being arrested, Alex, who's the leader of a gang and the main character of the story, is subjected to an experimental hypnotic treatment designed to cure him of his violent tendencies. The treatment, known as Ludovico technique, involves conditioning him to feel sick and nauseous at the sight of violence. Without spoiling too much of the story, there's a backlash which results in Alex being offered a great job for the government, hush money, and even a public status. What's interesting is the idea of free will in that novel. In that world, the freedom of individuals to make choices becomes problematic when those choices undermine the safety and stability of society. And in Clockwork Orange, the state is willing to protect society by taking away freedom of choice and replacing it with prescribed good behavior. How does this connect back to One Piece? Well, as we were researching the Cypherpole agents, we found similarities between the idea of conditioning people to the world government's agenda. Alex was a psychopath who was capable of extremes. He was excessively cruel and violent and was able to mask it by being calm and smiling, while wearing a black top hat and at times a cane, which connects to both Lucci and Lafitte, one of Blackbeard's 10 Titanic captains. The interesting twist is that Lafitte used to be a policeman, and Alex's friends who betrayed him went on to become police officers. Another character that ties here is Corazon, who actually wears Alex's eye makeup. The interesting thing here as well is that Alex was brainwashed through sounds and images via like classical music. And Corazon had the Nagi Nagi no Mi, also known as the Calm fruit, which allows the user to create a soundproof field and to cancel out all the noises. This would have been the specific fruit that Alex would have benefited from. What's even more intriguing though is that both Corazon and Lafitte have something that ties them together. Corazon was introduced in the Dressrosa arc, and even though Lafitte wasn't, Burgess was, another one of the 10th Titanic captains. Now, why is that relevant? Well, Burgess is the name of the author of A Clockwork Orange. So maybe that's a little nod from Oda, but we'll have to see. Additionally, there's a One Piece movie called Clockwork Island. Now, this is where hypnosis comes into play in a big way, and it connects the final moment in the movie, A Clockwork Orange. Due to the public perception of Alex, he was offered a job and status as it would help the government to regain a good image, even though the state is close to anarchy. Alex's friends never went through the treatment and were able to continue to act on their cruel impulse as they became police officers who worked for the government, further decaying the society. I believe that the world government has a means to influence certain people to fall in line. With Django's hypnosis, it's possible for someone to make a person completely forget who they are. We know that Django was involved in recruiting people like working under Hina, and Hina also talks in third person. So all of that there is just sus to begin with. But back to the point. There's a theory released by a couple of friends of this community, Daya, Regulus, and Tachi Spins, that talked about how through Dendem Mushi we were introduced to frequency in One Piece that some can access, hence why the Dendem Mushi take the caller's appearance. It's all about frequency. Everything in the One Piece world has its own frequency. People who use hypnosis are able to influence people by affecting their frequency. What's even more interesting is that 4 of the 5 canon characters known for their hypnotism are all connected by the arts. Django, he's a hypnotist who uses a pendulum as a medium, but is also a dancer. Mariana utilizes her unique skills as a painter to employ a special type of hypnosis based on colored paint. Lafitte, even though there's still mystery shrouding the character, he's seen to use hypnotism and is also a tap dancer. Brook is a musician that controls people's moods through his music, and as we know, music's very powerful in terms of connecting with the dead and the soul in One Piece. Even though each method of hypnosis is different, they all have a similar effect. So sound, images, movement enables them to influence other people in their actions, and the different mediums most likely affect different frequencies, but as I say, however, on a whole, generate a similar effect. In One Piece, we could probably define hypnotism as the desire to influence another person's mind or body by affecting their will, by tapping into its frequency. In Fishman Island, Brook revealed that he has refined his musical skills to the point where he could completely change the mood and effectively hypnotize his opponents to believe that they were at a festival. Something we also see with Uta in film Red. This is further evidenced by the 2 explanations of observation haki that would now make more sense. The first was with Ganfall back in Skypiea. He calls it the ability to listen to various sounds that a person's body makes. The second was Rayleigh during Luffy's training, who explains that being attuned to someone's emotions makes you capable of sensing another person's actions. It's all about how certain people interact with other frequencies, or even their own. Some use it to affect themselves with their haki, or affect others through the means of abilities like hypnosis. With this definition, we can see a lot of other abilities display similar effects. Perona's Horonomi allows her to create ghosts that can manipulate people's emotions and thoughts. Sugar's Hobby Nomi allows her to turn people into toys and erase their memories. She can also use hypnosis to control the toys she's created. Caesar Clown's Gasu Nomi allows him to create hallucinatory gas that can make enemies inadvertently fight each other, showing again a version of influence. But let's bring this back to the world government and how it all ties in. Even though Oda calls it hypnosis, the idea is aimed more towards general influence, which the world government, as we know, carries out by manipulating history and facts. We've already seen a failed version of these experiments with awakened zone jailers, we believe, who were put in Impel Down to be forgotten and ignored by history, essentially. Also, on top of that, recently we saw CP0 arrive at Egghead to dispatch a Vegapunk, only for the government to try and dispatch them while they were there too, which again is an example of the world government scrubbing their history and manipulating the facts. There's a scene in Wano that always bothered me concerning Guernica. When facing X-Drake, Guernica revealed to envy X-Drake for him choosing his own justice. In other words, Guernica was jealous of X-Drake's apparent free will. Now, what's strange about this is when he was then after ordered to kill Luffy, he showed concern before he carried out the mission, and when he did carry out the mission, he did the hat tilt, but he still complied to every order down to a T. He didn't even try to defend himself, like he was complying to exactly what was told to him. This is indicative of some sort of control, or also known as hypnosis. Even though the subject is not 100% sold on the idea, they're still completely complying nonetheless. We believe there are those who follow and don't actually ask questions, like Kaku, which might tie into the fact he speaks in an old man's dialect. And on the other hand, we have those like Rob Lucci that need influencing due to their unruly nature. That was the whole point of the government in Clockwork Orange. They believed in freedom as long as you fell in line. If not, they believed in prescribed good behaviour. The world government brainwash people who don't fall in line. Again, back to Clockwork Orange, Alex got a job in the government to fix the public image that took a huge hit due to his case leaking out to the public. Now, what if I told you that the person at the centre of the world government is in fact a painter? I think you all know who I'm talking about, but that's all I'm going to share for this bit. I'm going to tie this into the God Valley Part 2 theory, which is what happened at God Valley. So I'm sorry to tease you with that, but I'd love to take a quick second to thank a couple of people who were great helping in the making of this idea. So huge love to Tachi and Daya. That's Tachi Spins and Daya Regulus, who have some really cool stuff going on at the moment. Check out their Blazed Attorneys. You'll probably see us on their soon once we break down the time zones. Keep an eye out for collabs and TLA streams in the future, and make sure you're subbed to all of us. Keep safe, keep sane, and peace.